I've been out of my head, can't get out of bed.
Hey guys, what's up? Just finished a hike with the puppies, and you know, it is the long weekend, and I was doing some plant chores and cleaning some stuff, and I figured I should show you my struggling plant collection. Like, I legit have a section for all of our plants that are currently struggling because, you know, they were imports, and I believe all of these ones right here were actually from Ecuagenera, and you know, they've been with me for almost 1.5 years now, and they're finally putting off new growth. So I guess I should show you them individually and give you the honest truth about acclimating plants and how I got them to grow. All right, so like I had said, all of these plants here are from Ecuagenera, and I have had them in my care for about 1.5 years, and all of them except for one are Anthuriums. The other one is a Philodendron. So let's start with this one right over here. So this is my forgetti, and you know, wasn't doing anything. As you can see, the leaves are still not doing so hot, and this, when it arrived, it had huge roots, and I don't know what its deal was, so I ended up cutting back all the leaves. So you can see this used to be like a stem, and because this leaf is looking not so great, I'm gonna actually clip this off too, because it does have a new growth point right over here. So I'm gonna go ahead, just clip that off. All right, so now that I clipped off the leaves, hopefully all the energy will be put into this one leaf right over here. And yeah, that's basically what I've been doing. Anything that kind of looks funky to me, I just went ahead and clipped them all back. All right, so the next struggling plant that I have is this Anthurium right over here. For the life of me, I do not remember what its name is. I think my logic was, once it produces a new leaf, I'll be able to know. And I don't know. I don't know what this plant is. So there is a new growth point happening. So hopefully that leaf will be more perfect, and I'll be able to figure out what leaf it is. I will actually rinse the leaves though. You guys, especially if you have struggling plants, I would highly recommend to rinse them down weekly if you can, just because your leaves are providing the plant light and energy. So if you wipe down the leaves and you make sure there's no dust or anything like that, it can properly you know, sustain the plant. So this one does not need to be watered, but it does need to be rinsed. So now this plant has put off a new leaf, very shiny, however it is very deformed, and this is probably due to a watering issue. And you know, I had actually repotted this plant after I had trimmed back all the leaves, and it was just a stump. So this is where we're at today, and I do have this new beautiful leaf. I cannot remember the name of this Anthurium, but I will, you know, put a caption somewhere for you. And yeah, so it's growing quite well. Just waiting for this to harden off, and yeah, not bad. There is a little tear. I don't know if you can see. Probably not. There is a little tear on the leaf, but it's close to perfection. So I'm happy with that. All right, so the next Anthurium is this one right over here, and it is also a part of my struggling plant collection. I don't know what's going on with it, to be honest with you. I feel like perhaps it needs to be repotted because it gets sufficient light, it gets watered weekly. I don't know what its problem is, so I feel like it probably needs a new pot, but I'm not about that right now. I'm not in the mood to give it a new pot and do some repotting. But there is a new growth point right over here. So once this starts to emerge, probably gonna trim back, actually I'm just gonna trim back the leaves now. I'll trim back one of them, so that way it doesn't have to waste its energy on sustaining the other leaves. It can focus on the new growth point. And this Anthurium is actually quite interesting because the petiole is a triangle. Hopefully you can see that. It's very unique, very different, still very shimmery, but Yeah, I don't know what its deal is. And lastly, this Philodendron sodiroi AFF is my struggle plant. Now, I don't know what's going on with it. I think ever since I had repotted this plant in a chunkier mix, it hasn't been able to hold humidity and water as much as it used to. So the growth is just looking really funky. There was another one previously to this one and it just kind of like got stuck within itself. But hopefully this leaf will be able to kind of emerge and unfurl on its own. So yeah. So those are all of my struggling plants. So you can see a lot of them were Anthuriums that I had imported in about a year and a half ago from Aqua Genera. And I think the struggle was mostly from the fact that they shipped in during the winter time. And you know, when you're shipping plants in from the winter time, the plant is in shock. You are gonna have to nurture the plant a little bit more than you would if you were to ship them in during the spring. So like I had said in my previous videos, I find that shipping plants in during the beginning of spring when it's still, you know, a little bit cooler is probably like the best time to get your plants. I find that they acclimate so much easier and they just look a lot better and healthier. Whereas these guys, it took me a year and a half to get some growth out of them. Now, like I had said, all of them, I did end up having to cut back all the leaves so that way the plant was focusing on producing more roots. So when the plant is focusing on developing a better root system, then it will start to produce like a growth point for you. So my suggestion, if you have a struggling plant, don't stress so much about trying to keep that one leaf alive. It's okay to just clip it back. It'll grow a new leaf for you once it's established itself and it's in a happier environment. So go ahead, trim them back if you need to. Don't feel sad about it. Even this one, I may need to trim that one leaf. Like I'm gonna give it like another week and a half to see if this leaf hardens off ginormously. If it doesn't, I'm just gonna trim it. So that was all for today. I hope you enjoyed this very short and sweet video that you know, not all plants are perfect, and don't feel so bad if your plants are struggling. So see you guys next time. Bye.